join forces at the market. How long, and how does that journey then become to the whose idea? Oh, let's have a store. Let's do this. Let's do Duke's Cupboard.
We did the market for 5 or 6 years on Berwick Street. We did, but for a while we did Portobello and Berwick Street.
Yeah.
And then we did Berwick Street for 5 or 6 years. We both had other little part-time things.
Yeah.
So
would you share stock? Would you?
You know what? Weirdly, initially, we started and it was like, this is mine and this is yours.
Yeah.
So it was peak because some days, like, one of us would sell loads, the other one would sell fuck all.
Yeah.
So then we quickly realised it's better that we just put whatever little money we have together and just get.
I remember one of us said, it was probably the one that had the shit a day. It was like, so it might have been me that had a shit a day and he took a couple £100. And I was like, I think from next week we need to just like combine the stock. If we're going to take this to the next step, we need to just combine the stock.
Yeah.
And then, I think from there it was just both efforts just went into the same pot, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's how it worked.
That wasn't maybe 6 months in that change. It wasn't long.
Yeah.
And then, we did that for 5 or 6 years. And then we did a pop-up in 2016 or 17 with Round 2 in London. And then opened our first shop off the back of that, which isn't the shop we're in now, it's round the corner.
Yeah.
The old shop was in Greens Court. And that was just, we did that, it was successful, and then we got an opportunity to take that shop for 3 months, and then ended up spending almost 2 years there. And that was kind of how it,
Yeah.
Yeah, but we always wanted a shop though.
For sure.
Standing on a market stall for years and years. I mean, I say that now, 5 years isn't actually that long, because some geezers have been there for 30 years. That's a hard graft, doing that in the winter in London.
But some of them clean up on the market and they don't ever want to move to the, to having those bills, those outgoings that come with having a shop,
Yeah.
Because obviously it costs us fuck all to be on the street, right? Like 50 quid a day or whatever. If that on Berwick Street, right?
Man,
Down Portobello was maybe like 50, 60 quid.
Berwick Street was cheap then.
Yeah.
We actually did it the other day, Berwick Street Market, just for a one-off.
Was it like 2, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
What was the response on the story from bits that had been picked up was really good. Do you think that was like kind of refreshing?
Yeah, it was. I think it's just a hot day. We had a Saturday free. Our mates have got a stall there. They said you can have the pitch for the day. It was just like a laugh, but it was sweet because a bunch of people came down and said cool, and some of them are people who used to come down back in the day as well.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was nice, man. It was just like nice to do that, and actually, when the sun's out and you're on Berwick Street Market, it's the best job in the world.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's fucking fun, and you're just like. But then
it's like riding a ped, isn't it? It's like riding a moped. It's like in the summer it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's fucking winter. It's like fuck. Why have I got this? It's the exact same thing.
It is, yeah.
We used to sit in William Hill, which is now gone. That was on Berwick Street. Out looking out the window, waiting for people to walk into the stall. Waiting for our
stall to blow away. Just looking at it, just thinking, and then weight's gonna hold it like.
And we'd take turns, didn't it? Be like, bruv, go get the stall. Like fucking, it's gonna blow,
Yeah.
And then November, December, January, February, fucking freezing out there.
And then if no one rocks up and you've done 8-9 hours standing in the cold,
mate,
you're feeling it.
Arguing over a £10 note. in the snow. It's like you can question some things in that time,
Yeah.
Like I suppose the process from initially doing it individually to combine forces fully, and then that progression on Berwick Street to the store, the initial store after the pop-up, and then the store you've got now. I suppose you've probably learnt a lot about yourselves in that time. Because much like people who work a freelance job, I don't have a guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hustle that goes into it, and the hustle's kind of it's all encompassing, because it's firstly I've got to source the product. I've got to have a bit of belief in back the product I'm buying, that I can turn a profit on it.
Yeah.
And to do that for so long, I presume I don't presume, I know you know what's up when you're up buying stock.
Yeah.
So I suppose is that changed and influenced as you've progressed?
What you mean learning? We learned a lot in those years on the market stall about what to do, what not to do. I think that's and I'm only really able to really understand the value of that sat here now in hindsight.
Yeah.
Of how much we learnt in those 5 or 6 years doing that. But then yes, you do learn what to buy, and you do make mistakes we still do, you know, in what you're buying, and like it changes. Kind of what's selling now, you know, what isn't the same as what it was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, sorry, I was like, I was really with it when I was like, and I was like, like the person in my head that was with it just walked off.
Yeah,
he walked off, and I was like, fuck. I was like, that was fucking good, but it's walked off. And so like,
I think now that like our sort of connections and our experience and our network has broadened so much that we can get better stock now as well. So like in the shop, you know, people walk in with stuff now, and where we've been doing this for 10 plus years, you know, people know that we buy and sell, and we're like a place to go to now to sell stuff.
Yeah.
And also our knowledge of like where to find stuff ourselves is broadened as well, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I've been going around some guy's house for like the last few months buying like, spending $1,000 at a time on like vape, do you know what I mean? And it's just like a collection of vape, yeah? From the last like 20 years.
Some mad stuff.
Yeah.
And you meet these
people.
Unfortunately, Rhys, I let 95% of mine go way too early.
I've been going around, you know, like 3 or 4 times now. And, you know, that wouldn't have happened after the first week, innit?
You had a mad collection, yeah. Some people hold on to them. Most people don't, you know? Like
I've held on to the pieces that were like I cherish highly.
Yeah.
Like I've got one item that may give me a payday at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe very soon at the end of this conversation.
What's the item?
You've got to sell it at the right time.
It's the Kanye jacket. It's the one that's on the one the bear was wearing on the.
Oh, mad.
The cartoon bear.
I'll give you 80 quid for it.
It's like a grey marl.
The vape one.
Yeah, babe one.
Right.
Babe head on the front and then a bathing ape.
Yeah.
Applique on the back. Yeah, Chanel.
Yeah,
I can't think of that off the top of my head.
Yeah, you'll know.
Well, can we get a picture up on the screen?
I'll get it. I'll get you a picture.
Like in the edit.
All I'm seeing is dollar signs over here. You boys like, if I can get that off and for that, I'd be at that. Because I do the same, man. I do this. Friends want to sell a Supreme jacket, and I'm like, well, you paid 800 quid for it when it was hot. It ain't hot no more. Yeah, I'll give you that, and I know I can shift it for a couple of profit or whatnot.
Mate, I had one of those North Face Supreme Nupsies, the green leopard print one, yeah.
Big jacket.
I bought
cool
that.
Jacket.
I remember ringing the store, yeah. I spoke to one of the boys in the store, and I was like, "You got any of those left?" On like the day after it dropped, and he's like, "Yeah, we've got 2 larges left." I was like, "All right, do you reckon they'll sell?" He's like, "I don't know, mate. Just get down it." Anyway, I went and bought it at ease, yeah, without queuing up any of that crap. Like the day after the release, yeah, and I had it for a couple of months. And then my mate was just like, "Oh, do you want to sell that jacket?" I think I sold it to him for 100 quid more than I paid for it. And that retailed at 240 quid rather than the price now, which is 350 for a Nupsy.
Yeah.
I remember it. It was like 239 or something like that, which was, you know, significantly cheaper than it is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think I sold it for 100 quid more. I went and bought like a Y3 puffer, and then like literally a year later, I was like, fucking hell, man, if I still had that. It's just like one of those things.
Oh, it's painful.
Yeah, you never know though, innit? And it's like, things come and go like that, you know?
It's all about selling at the right time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's like all the low life guys from New York thinking they're going to keep all their collection, buy a mansion with
and
it.
retire.
But it's like a lot of them held on to it too long.
Yeah.
They didn't sell at the right time.
Yeah, which you're not always to know. But that dude with the vape, is when that happens to us, it's nice. When you meet someone like an individual who's got an old collection, and quite often they're quite weird about letting go of it because it means whatever it means to them, it means something to them, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, that we've met people over the years who have had like an old Stussy collection or a vape collection or whatever, and they're like, bit by bit, they become ready to let go of it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's why these relationships are important, you know?
That's what I was going to say. It's about building the relationship over the years. Like on the market, so there's like these kids, like, they don't want us to come around their house with a couple $100 quid, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to get to that point, you know?
And that vape stuff is like some of the best vape I've ever seen, you know? That him and I think a family member of his collected over the years, and it's like, you know, that's like, you don't really find that stuff in the wild. You know what I mean? You don't really. It's in someone's wardrobe somewhere or in their lockup, you know? Occasionally you do.
Not to that abundance, do you know what I mean?
Not like
Yeah.
that. You might
This
find
is
that
like
odd thing.
suitcases after suitcase full of shit.
Yeah. There's some big collectors back then. Yeah.
It's all stuff from the old shop.
Yeah.
The one next to Hideout.
Yeah.
Like London opening shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got good friends from up Leeds, like Neil and Mark Bedford. They were in the queue every
I heard
week.
those names.
Yeah, Neil's a photographer. Mark used to have the Chimp store.
Right. Okay.
Up in Leeds. They used to work at Hip once upon a time in the lanes. And a friend, Jay Warren Jones, big Supreme vape collectors, all of them. Yeah.
Hip was the
from that
store
area.
in Leeds that sold Supreme, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hip store.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah,
It's not the
it's
same,
different.
but it's
yeah.
still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sold now, isn't it? To
Yeah.
size, right?
Okay.
JD.
Yeah, JD Group. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you touched on buying. Do you both still do all the buying?
Yeah.
And do you have similar buying styles, or are you different, or do you is it complementary to each other?
We do have different tastes, and we both have we kind of we buy to our Dukes is essentially a mixture of like our tastes and what we think is good right now and looks good in the store, which might not be our taste, but we know a lot of people do like it.
Yeah.
You know, and we do have different tastes, but then Ned and I went to the same place and split up for 3 hours and came back. You probably looked pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. There's certain things that I knew about growing up that maybe Milo didn't care about when he was younger, and same for him,
Yeah.
So then, and it's sort of like, I don't know, you never know what you're going to see when you're out buying. If you're on eBay, you have to type stuff in, right? Like, I'm looking for a Stone Island jacket. But when you're in a car boot sale or a flea market in the other side of the world, you don't know what's about to fucking appear before your eyes. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, you don't know what's going to, be there. And then you're like, fucking hell, I remember that. And then you have to make a decision like, am I going to, try and put that in my shop? And do you know what I mean? It's like, you're constantly making decisions when you're buying. And you have to decide on the spot. So, yeah.
And often you're tired and it's in the middle of nowhere and you're like, it's
Yeah.
like raining
And what is your preferred preferred way to buy?
I mean, personally, I love going to a flea market in the other side. I mean, that's like a beautiful day out for me, But like, there are certain like warehouses or places we go where like that might be an easier way, like more like valuable for the time you spend and the effort you leave with better stuff. But it's more exciting going to somewhere like a flea market, and it's more of an inspiring experience for sure, because like you're hunting and you don't, as Ned said, you don't know, and it's like you see some weird stuff in weird corners of the world that you just like, and some of that's the best. Even the things in our stores that aren't for sale, like those bits, it's just like they're all handpicked from all over the place, and it's kind of like that's the stuff that, like Ned said, you don't really know you're looking for it, but then you see it and you're like, that's what I'm looking for, which is quite fun. That bit's still just as fun.
Yeah, the organic pursuit is just
And also you're paying a fraction of the price if you're buying it from a flea market.
That helps.
Compared to like eBay or someone that walks in the store, right?
Yeah.
Which definitely always helps.
Yeah.